Today we have a good round of mind-blowing random facts. Woodrow Wilson is the only president of the United States to have earned a PhD. The Strait of Malacca is the world's busiest shipping lane, handling over 100,000 vessels and 40% of global trade annually as it connects the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Some male mammals, like fruit bats, can lactate. While rare, this phenomenon is linked to hormonal changes and paternal care. Something I found surprising recently: the Egyptian fruit bat, Rusetus aegyptiacus, is the sole fruit bat species in all of Europe, and it's only found on the island of Cyprus. The Japanese flag, or Hinomaru, has undergone subtle changes throughout its history. Until 1999, the red disc representing the sun was positioned slightly off-center, shifted approximately 1% to the left. A standardization law in 1999 officially centered the disc, establishing the precise design used today. The plica semilunaris, that small fold of tissue in the inner corner of your eye, is a vestigial structure, a remnant of a third eyelid or nictitating membrane that our evolutionary ancestors possessed. Despite their bear-like appearance, wolverines belong to the family Mustelidae, which includes weasels, badgers, otters, and ferrets. They are known for their strength and aggressiveness, often taking down prey much larger than themselves. The Eiffel Tower's iconic appearance is maintained through a meticulous repainting process that occurs every 7 years. Each repainting requires approximately 60 tons of paint. The world's largest cashew tree, which is a famous attraction in Parnamirim, Brazil, it's a single cashew tree that covers an area of approximately 8,500 square meters, or about 2.1 acres. Here's a fun fact: this tree is so large because of a genetic mutation that allows its branches to grow outwards and take root, creating what looks like multiple trees from a single plant. The genetics of eye color are surprisingly complex, far beyond the simple Punnett square models often taught in basic biology. So, over 50 different genes contribute to eye color, explaining the wide range of hues we see and the fact that inheritance patterns are much more intricate than previously thought. Early roller skates were quite dangerous, lacking any brakes. It took around a century for the toe stop to be invented, leading to many bumps and bruises for those early skaters. The surprising longevity of whale sharks, over 100 years, was revealed through an unexpected connection to Cold War nuclear testing. By analyzing the growth rings in their vertebrae and locating a distinct spike of radioactive isotopes deposited during nuclear tests, scientists were able to calibrate the growth rate of these rings and accurately determine the age of these gentle giants. Despite his impressive scientific credentials, two-time Nobel laureate Linus Pauling controversially championed high doses of vitamin C as a cure for cancer, a belief he held until his death from prostate cancer, even though it was largely unsupported by the scientific community. The saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile, can grow to a staggering 23 feet long and weigh over a ton, or 2,200 pounds. Adding to their imposing presence, they also possess the most powerful bite ever recorded, crushing down with a force of 3,700 pounds per square inch. Despite their size, cheetahs aren't classified as big cats like lions or tigers. Their unique anatomy, including a fully ossified hyoid bone that allows them to purr, places them in the small cat subfamily, making them essentially very large small cats. The box jellyfish may appear harmless with its translucent cube-shaped bell, but it possesses one of the deadliest venoms in the world. What's even more alarming is that their stinging cells, called nematocysts, can be activated not only by touch but also by chemicals present on the skin of their prey, which can cause them to fire even before direct contact. Fidel Castro was renowned for his marathon speeches. He once captivated the United Nations for 4 hours and 29 minutes in 1960, only to later outdo himself with a staggering 7-hour and 10-minute address at the Communist Party Congress in Havana in 1986. The Earth spins a full 360 degrees in about 24 hours, meaning it turns 15 degrees every hour. This hourly rotation is the basis for global time zones, with each zone spanning roughly 15 degrees of longitude and representing a 1-hour time difference. The term second, as a unit of time, originates from its historical definition as the second small part of an hour, following the first small part, which we know as the minute. Meerkats have a reputation for being highly aggressive within their own species. Studies have shown that a significant percentage of meerkat deaths, around 20%, are due to infanticide or territorial conflicts with other meerkats. For many years, there had only been one instance of an official sumo championship being held outside of Japan, which took place in London in 1991. However, this is set to change, as London will once again host a prestigious sumo tournament in October 2025, marking only the second time in history that such an event has occurred outside of Japan. The scientific name for sloths, bradypus, meaning slow foot in Greek, perfectly encapsulates their most distinctive trait, their incredibly slow movements. While nearly all mammals share the characteristic of having 7 neck vertebrae, the three-toed sloth is a remarkable exception. With 9 cervical vertebrae, these sloths possess an extraordinary ability to swivel their heads almost 270 degrees, granting them a panoramic view of their treetop world. Sloths might seem like unusual creatures, but their evolutionary history links them to other fascinating animals like anteaters and armadillos, all of which belong to an ancient group of mammals called Xenarthra, characterized by their unique skeletal structures. Also, they spend up to 90% of their lives hanging upside down, and a study has revealed the secret to their effortless inverted existence. Researchers discovered that sloths have unique internal anchors that keep their organs in place, preventing them from pressing on their lungs and allowing them to breathe freely, even while hanging. They have very little muscle mass. Only 25 to 30% of their bodies are muscle compared to 40 to 45% in most mammals, allowing them to thrive on a low-energy diet and lifestyle. The Mariana Trench is so incredibly deep that if you dropped a pebble into its depths, it would take over an hour to reach the seabed. In a surprising twist of history, Vincent van Gogh painted his iconic masterpiece, The Starry Night, in 1889, the very same year that Fusajiro Yamauchi established Nintendo in Japan, initially as a producer of playing cards. Removing eyebrows from images of familiar faces significantly impairs our ability to recognize them, highlighting the key role these seemingly small features play in our perception of facial identity. Animal populations in Africa are still bouncing back to their former numbers after the devastating impact of rinderpest in the 1800s. This deadly disease, brought over from Europe, nearly wiped out most hoofed animals or ungulates. The loss was so massive that it didn't just change the wildlife, it altered entire ecosystems. The ripple effects of these changes even fueled famines, playing a role in triggering the infamous scramble for Africa. While many people experience an internal monologue or inner voice, research suggests that a substantial portion of the population, perhaps 30 to 50%, may not have this experience, relying instead on other modes of thought such as visual or spatial reasoning. It's a fascinating twist of history that horses, which originally evolved in North America, became extinct on the continent around 10,000 years ago. They were then reintroduced by Spanish explorers in the 1500s, marking a significant turning point in the continent's history and ecology. Achromotrichia, more commonly known as graying or whitening hair, is a natural part of the aging process caused by a decrease in melanin production. The extreme concentration of wealth in the world is such that the combined wealth of the 48 poorest nations can be dwarfed by the fortunes of just the 3 wealthiest individuals, highlighting the vast economic disparities that exist globally. The farthest humans have ever journeyed from Earth was during the Apollo 13 mission, when the astronauts traveled approximately 248,655 miles, or 400,000 kilometers, as they looped around the far side of the moon. This remains the record for human space travel. The Norwegian government pension fund Global, commonly known as the Oil Fund, is one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds and a significant investor in the global stock market, holding a diverse portfolio of international equities. Sharks have been swimming the Earth's oceans for a staggering 450 million years, a history that far predates Polaris's current role as our North Star. Due to the Earth's axial precession, Polaris only recently became aligned with our north celestial pole. After surgery, the intestines have some degree of inherent ability to organize themselves within the abdominal cavity, aided by muscle contractions called peristalsis and the structural support provided by the mesentery. Male wolves often form strong, lifelong pair bonds with their female partners, and wolf packs are primarily family units. The traditional concept of a rigidly enforced alpha hierarchy has been largely debunked by studies of wild wolf populations, revealing a more complex social structure based on family bonds and cooperative leadership by the breeding pair. Piezoelectricity is a fascinating property of certain materials that allows them to generate electricity when subjected to mechanical stress. This remarkable phenomenon has led to a wide range of applications, from sensors that detect minute changes in pressure to igniters that create sparks for lighting fires or the spark of a normal lighter. Sponges are an incredibly ancient and successful group of animals, with a lineage stretching back over 600 million years. Their relatively simple body plan has remained largely unchanged over vast stretches of time, demonstrating the effectiveness of their filter-feeding lifestyle. While often described as least evolved, it's more accurate to say that sponges have followed a distinct evolutionary path, adapting successfully to their ecological niche. Benford's law reveals a surprising pattern in many large data sets of numbers. The leading digit is far more likely to be a 1 than a 9. This statistical phenomenon has become a valuable tool for detecting fraud, as fabricated data often fails to conform to this natural distribution, making it a potential red flag for those cooking the books. Water is a surprisingly effective radiation shield, particularly against neutron radiation. While dense materials like concrete and lead are commonly used for shielding against other types of radiation, such as gamma rays, water offers superior protection against neutrons due to its high hydrogen content. Despite being closer to the Sun than Neptune, Uranus is surprisingly the coldest planet in our solar system. This is likely due to its unusual axial tilt and lack of internal heat, resulting in frigid temperatures even colder than its more distant neighbor. To overcome Earth's gravitational pull and venture into space, a rocket must achieve escape velocity, a speed of approximately 7 miles per second, more precisely 6.96 miles per second, or 11.2 kilometers per second. Dogs have been banned from Antarctica since 1994 due to fears that they could spread diseases to the native seal population. 99% of all species that have ever inhabited Earth are now extinct, underscoring the continuous cycle of life and loss that has shaped our planet's biodiversity. I'm officially out of random facts for now. My brain is officially fried. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep this madness going. See you next time, hopefully with a fully recharged brain.